Hello, everyone. My name's Robin. I work for St Anne's Church in Limehouse, where there's currently a power cut. So a few people may not be able to see this, but we are recording it and it will be available later. This is number one in 3 interviews we're running as part of the Life month of special events leading up to Easter at St Anne's. It will be really simple, really informal. Just a handful of questions to my friends, Phillip and Mariko, who I'll introduce in a moment. And it's just to give you a taste of what active Christian faith looks like in a real variety of situations. After they've answered the questions, I'll share a little bit of the Christian message that they believe and love. And then after that, you can ask questions. And the way we'll do that is through writing questions in the chat box, which should hopefully be a bit more straightforward than different people trying to speak. So you can put them in at any time, and then we'll come to those right at the end. We should all be done by 9 p.m. We've somewhat rudely muted you all. If you're not muted, please could you? That will just help with the recording a lot in terms of sound quality and things. Great. Okay. Well, let me introduce the stars of today's show, which is my dear friends, Phillip and Mariko Penpraise. They're friends of mine for a couple of years now. Really loved at St Anne's, although sadly not often able to be around for reasons we'll hear about soon. So, Phillip and Mariko, welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Hi, Robin.
Hi,
everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Now, the topic of this session is life as a medically vulnerable person. We will get onto that, but first we'd like to just hear a bit about you guys as people. So tell us about yourselves, where you grew up, some past experiences. Phillip, I know you had some experience in the military, for example. So yeah, why don't you just give us a bit of background on yourselves?
Yeah, sure. So I joined, so obviously I'm American. I think everybody can tell from the accents, even though I've been living in the UK for just like 9 years now, but I still have a diehard American accent, probably never will change. Yeah, I joined the Navy shortly during a break in uni to pay for college, because I think everyone fairly knows that college in the United States is quite expensive. So joining the Navy for me was a way for me to do that. Joined the Navy, and my first assignment was to go to Japan. So I've never been to Japan before, didn't know anything about Japan, didn't speak Japanese. I studied Spanish in university and high school, so I was completely like a fish out of water, so to speak. So I lived in Japan for a while working for the Navy. I got out of Japan, went back to the uni in the States, then I returned back to Japan to join a web startup, a Japanese web startup, since I spoke Japanese at the time and I was quite like versed in the culture and happy living in Japan. So yeah, I mean, I've been working in Japan probably about 15 years, I guess you could say. And I've recently moved into working in the financial services industry, and I've been working there kind of ever since. And in the last few years, I was offered a role in the UK. So I did a relocation again. So going to Japan, I went to the UK, which was transition was a lot easier since everyone speaks English. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock as well, because I was so used to being in Japan for a while. I was kind of almost Japanese a bit. But yeah, no, I love the UK and been here ever since. So yeah, doing fine.
That's fascinating. I didn't know you spoke Japanese. That's great.
It's not that good anymore, but yeah, I actually did study Japanese, intensive Japanese study when I was in Japan. I went to Temple University studying Japanese, and yeah, it's quite hard to live in Japan. Although you can live in Japan without speaking any Japanese. I think a lot of like foreigners do, a lot of expats do for a few years. But if you live in Japan for a while, being able to read and speak is really important. So it just improves your whole overall quality of life. And I lived like in a regular Japanese neighborhood. I just wanted to immerse myself in the culture because I was living in Japan anyways. So I didn't, that's just kind of the way I decided to go about doing things. And it was quite cool.
That sounds very cool. Mariko, tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. I'm Mariko, and I came to UK in 2019. Yeah, before that I was just a normal girl, and working for some international real estate company. So where I learned English a lot. So yeah, since we met, our life kind of getting changed, and then I came to UK for the first time in 2018 for just sightseeing and just visiting him and sightseeing in London. That was very fantastic experience for me. And then once our relationship is getting serious, we think about our future together, and then we got engaged. So yeah, back then everything was fine, like a normal couple, like a very safe and happy and a normal life we've been living like other people do. But suddenly our life kind of getting changed because he diagnosed sickness in his kidney. But yeah, before that, yeah, I have never lived abroad. I have never studied abroad. So the living in the UK is, yeah, very big experience for me, and then very big challenge for me. But everything is so wonderful. So yeah, so now I've been living in here for 3 years, but I'm very happy ever. So yeah, I just want to share our like experience, background, and then faith in Jesus with all the people in front of the screen.
Oh, great, great. We'd love to hear it. You did mention there how both your lives dramatically changed when Philip was diagnosed with his illness. So let's just get on to that then. Philip, what is your medical condition and how does it impact your life?
Yeah, so I have kidney disease. Basically, what happened was like in around 2010, I got really sick with pneumonia. I got viral and bacterial pneumonia when I was in Japan, and for whatever reason, don't really know the cause of it, but I was just infected with a really bad case of pneumonia. I had to be put in a medically induced coma for 2 weeks, and when I came out of the coma, I was connected to like a dialysis machine. And the doctors explained to me kind of what was going on. And I lost a lot of kidney function at that time. And I had a second bout to that when I was in the UK. So I was kind of living a kind of quasi normal life until about 2019. And about 2019, I got really sick again. And this time it was quite bad. Again, it was with like pneumonia, and I had issue. It was similar to like to like COVID-19, where I had difficulty breathing, just difficulty doing anything really, like moving, everything. You would just I'd be out of breath like immediately doing anything at all. And what happened was basically my kidneys shut down again, and I became sick, and the body became overwhelmed. So I had to be admitted to the ICU, and then put on dialysis. And then the doctors basically, all of my kidney function was able to improve a slight bit. Still, it was enough where I had to be put on dialysis. So I kind of had a choice. I had a choice to be put on hemodialysis, which is having a machine connected to you through one of your arteries. And basically that's typically done inside the hospital. And so that is, it's done like in a dialysis center or a hospital, where you come into the hospital about 3 times a week, and it's about 5 hours for each session. So they filter your blood. And so that cleans you, and it's quite exhausting. You usually lose about 1 to 2 kilograms of weight in a session. So by the time people are finished with a session, you're just completely exhausted. It's like, some people say it's like equivalent to like running a marathon. I don't think it's quite that bad, but it is quite exhausting. But I was also given a choice to be put on peritoneal dialysis. So what that is that I have a tube inserted in my stomach, and I have fluid inserted into my stomach, or every night a machine cycles through fluid in my stomach, where that basically cleans my blood through my body. And the machine, what it does then, it takes the fluid out of my body, and it does that over a period of time. So I do that every day, and right now it takes about 10 hours for that to happen. So I do 10 hours of dialysis every day. It's connected to a machine at night, and I have a tube connected to my stomach. I mean, jokingly, it's kind of like plugging in a USB cable. It's a little worse than that, but I kind of like refer to it as like I have to plug in my USB to charge. So, but yeah, they basically get a tube connected up to me, and then it filters my blood or through my stomach every night for 10 hours. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Yeah, and of course I take a lot of medication. So I'm probably on about 12 different medication I take every day. So I have like Mariko makes a medicine daily organizer for me. So I have to take that every day. So there's a lot of vitamins, a lot of things for like kidney care, other things to control blood pressure and so forth. Yeah. So it's quite intense, like the regimen for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now we get used to this lifestyle. 10 hours dialysis and lots of medication, and then every day, like the same things we have to do. The same things. Like we have a kind of a routine every day. But now we get used to. But in the beginning of this
really
life was so stressful and frustrated, and it makes us so easily frustrated, and then we had a lot of fighting, and then that was so hard.
It makes you quite depressed sometimes. It's just like, because you have to do it every day. If you miss it, to give you an idea, I think if I miss dialysis, probably like a week or 2 weeks, it's failed. So every little thing, even kind of scared me when you said earlier today about a power outage, because if I have a power outage, I rely on my machine to clean my body every day. I do have like a manual workaround. So there's a manual bag that we can use in case you lose power or you lose supplies. So all these little things, like it can quickly become an emergency for our side. Like if we don't get a medical delivery, we have to get medical deliveries every month. And to give you an idea, it's about 500, 600 kilograms worth of equipment that has to be delivered to the house. We have to stock that in another room. So we have, of course, you have to pay for a more expensive house to have one room devoted to dialysis supplies. Thankfully, the council gives you discounts, not much, but they give you a little bit of discount on the council tax, which is always appreciated. But yeah, it's everything can, everything becomes kind of, small things can become big things in this kind of world. Just having to clean the machine and do all the daily maintenance, and it's quite intense, and it's.
And once the rubbish is stacking, we feel like we don't want to do anything, so we have to continue to clean up every day, otherwise never ending.
I mean, we generate loads of medical rubbish like every day. There's like loads of bags, cardboard, all kinds of medical supplies to go through every day. It's just a huge amount of stuff. It's unbelievable. But
and Philip, when you realized that your life was going to be like this, how did you feel? You've already mentioned that it was heavy going, but particularly, how did it feel given your background? You came from the Navy, and I know you were big into fitness. How did you manage that transition into this new life?
I mean, it's a good question. When I heard the news, it was devastating. It was really, because at the time I was bodybuilding. I just did a contest, and at the time I was around 115, 120 kilos in weight, at a good, slim, low body fat. And I was training I would say probably like 5 to 6 days a week, about 2 to 3 hours a session. So that was basically my life, was work and gym. And I would eat. I would eat a lot. So I would give you an idea. I would eat probably about 2 kilos of chicken a day, 5 days a week. And I told the doctors that. They thought I was just out of my mind, because of just what I'm pushing through because in terms of like when you eat so much protein, it damages the kidneys. And I had a high blood pressure. This doctors still don't understand like kind of what happened to me. Just it's a weird thing. It's just, don't really know until we do like a biopsy, but a biopsy is kind of risky in my situation, so we just kind of don't know. But yeah, no, when I heard the news, it was devastating. I just you feel like you're invincible, right? Like of course you're at a young age, and I was big and strong, was entering contests, and then doctors said basically, yeah, the outside of your body looks great, inside is like 80-year-old man. He said, yeah, it's just messed up inside. So yeah, I mean, it was really depressing. Of course, the first thing I wanted to do to give you an idea how obsessed I was with the gym. So I was doing exercises in the ICU. They thought I was insane. I was doing like push-ups, extensions, like crunches when I was in. I'm not. I mean, it sounds crazy to myself now, but that's how obsessed I was when I was at that level, competing at that level. I didn't want to miss out on anything. But yeah, it's the world kind of came crashing down when I got told about dialysis. And first thing I thought was like, I'm never gonna be able to go to the gym again, or I'm gonna be, that's gonna hurt my life. And then what about work? If I have to go to dialysis 3 times a week, how do I pull down the job with that? And I mean, to be honest, the first reaction I had was like blaming God. I was like, why did this happen to me? I was just, why me? And that was my first reaction. I was upset. I was really, really upset. I didn't, of course, at the time, I haven't been in the church for a long time. I grew up Catholic and Methodist. And since I joined the Navy, I kind of just stopped doing that. I kind of stopped about 18, 19, going to church and being kind of, it's always being somewhat religious, but just kind of put a pause on everything. Thankfully, after meeting with Mariko, that kind of we resumed that, but it's been a long time.
Let's come on to that, because that was going to be my next question. Because so I met you first, Mariko, at St. Anne's Church. What brought you there? Why did you come?
I was, anyways, desperate to save his life, because as he said, in 2019, that was March, I was still in Japan, and he texted me and then woke me up. That was 3 a.m. in Japan time, and I thought, oh, he saw something wrong with him, because he knows it's midnight in Japan time, and I'm still doing my job, working for the company. In the midnight, wake me up. He said, help me, come to the UK now. And I bought a ticket and then flew to London. And I thought, things getting very serious, and he's not normal. He need my help immediately. So I flew to London and then took care of him. But he still didn't admit he's sick, because he thought he was young, he was strong, he could go to gym again, he could do anything, but the illness harmed him very much. And then I clean up his room and then take care of him, and then like cook some meal for him, and it did something good for him. And I left the UK, and he really, really gets sick after I leave London. Now, million times I said to him, you have to go see a doctor, because something wrong with you. Because he texted me in midnight. That was crazy. So I asked him to go see a doctor, but he didn't. Then he has to call ambulance when I left him, and he was alone. Then I thought 2 things. Physically, he's very serious. And then mentally, also, he's very serious, because he didn't listen to me, even though I told him he has to go to doctor. He didn't. admit he was ill. So I thought, I'm very desperate. I need someone's big help. And I thought, God is the only one. So I went to church back then in Japan. And then I was baptized in Japan. And I decided to come to the UK earlier. We were already talking about our future in London eventually, but everything had happened all at once. And I came to London, took care of him, and I was desperate to save his life. Barely he could save his life because doctor saved his life, and he was in ICU for a long time. And then barely being saved. And then he discharged from hospital. He really needed someone to help. And I was glad I flew to London immediately, and it changed my life. And then first thing I did in the UK when I arrived at the UK is find the church. So I walk around my neighbor because I was we were living in very close to St. Anne's. I was walking around and I found St. Anne's and talked to him. I found it. And then he recommended me to, you can go to church and you can make some friends, because I have no one. I didn't have any friend in the UK. So yeah, I decided to go to church, and I joined church. And then I still remember on the second day, Richard talked to me. And then Robin talked to me as well. And then I shared life, and I shared some problem with you guys. And then everyone was very kind and everyone was very supportive. Then I was very enjoying the church life. And then the more I knew about St. Anne's, the more I wanted to know Jesus, because to be honest, I had zero experience about Christianity. I didn't know anything about Jesus. I only knew God. God is powerful. So I wanted to know Jesus very seriously. And then Philip knew about Jesus more than I do. So I asked him, tell me about Jesus, because I want to know. I will take care of him. So your job is talk about Jesus to me. So I learned Jesus a lot from him. In addition to lots of Bible study sentence that Sarah Jane provided us. So everything works out very effectively, miraculously. And the more we know Jesus, the more we are kind of getting fine. Because before Jesus, we had a lot of fight and then easily frustrated because of the lots of difficulty, because of lots of regulation and the rules. But now we are fine because we have Jesus. So Christianity changed our life a lot. So because I was very desperate to save his life, I come to know Jesus.
Great. Well, let's talk about that a bit, because what does it mean then to come to know Jesus? How is it that you guys have come to know and trust this man Jesus?
I already knew God is powerful. God is the creator. And then I found studying Bible, reading Bible, praying to God, I found Jesus is the only one who we can access to God. And Jesus died for our sins. So at the same time, we found we are all sinners. Then fine, we are fine. We are weak, we are sinners, that's fine. God knows about that. Then that's why Jesus died, because we are weak and we are sinner for saving our life. So I realized we are fine as we are, and then Jesus walked us. Jesus loves us. That's why Jesus died for us. So yeah, Jesus is the only one access for us to pray to God, talk to God, ask something to God. So this one is like very, very big, our Lord. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that, Jesus is someone that loves you unconditionally, is always there, right? I think when I grew up, I was exposed to Christianity at a young age, and I guess you could say I was a Christian. Went to church regularly, and prayed, and Sunday school, and I did all that throughout. But it kind of, once I kind of got older, I just kind of put all that kind of on hold, and just kind of, I don't know, just became disillusioned, or just kind of drifted away. Just kind of like slowly stopped going to church, and then things just, those weeks turned into months, and then by then it turned into years, and then at that point it was just kind of an afterthought. But I think what made me kind of rethink about it was that I know that Jesus was still in my life and still affecting me, even though I kind of refused to believe it or refused to see it. There's been like too many coincidences, let's say I'm calling them coincidences, too many like things in my life to discount them as coincidences. Like getting a job, getting an offer to go to the job in the UK. I consider this all part of a plan, because, like, for example, this sounds kind of weird, but I was working in Japan, and at that time my visa was running out, and Japan government rejected my stay for a permanent visa application, even though I've been in Japan for 10 years. And then I was reaching a point where I only had a couple months left on my visa, and then actually became like a month. And then suddenly my company offers me a job in the UK for a full relocation package. And I had literally days left in my Japan visa until I would have been kicked out of the country. It's just like a little bit bizarre that, suddenly the role pops up and how things just suddenly happen. Some people will discount that, oh, that's kind of a coincidence, but there's too many of these things that happen in my life. But when I got sick in 2010, the only thing that was sustaining my body was like, basically, like during when I was in a medically induced coma, my heart stopped twice. So I was actually medically declared dead. They restarted my heart. And when I woke up after the coma, I had like, bruises on my chest, and that was from like trying to restart my heart. And it's just all this craziness has happened to me. Me meeting Mariko, us meeting St. Anne's, we lived close to St. Anne's. There's too many of these little coincidences, and to discount them as coincidences. They're little mini miracles. I mean, for me and for Mariko as well. There's too many of these little things that you could see that maybe not at the time, but when you look past, you're like, wow, that's just too weird. It seems unreal. That's happened in our life. I know, several times, and I think that at the time, maybe you can't see what's being planned or what's being done, but in the future, you look back, you're like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I can definitely see that happening. And being, Mariko joined St. Anne's, and then so I got interested as well. That I started to coming as well before the whole lockdown COVID thing. It's been a great thing in our life to reconnect and to relook at the Bible and just reconnect with that. It's wonderful. Yeah, it looks like everything is connected, and everything has been prepared for us. So we can't see like it's just coincidence. It's amazing. It's just we feel like it's already planned for us.
Well, guys, thank you for being so open about your faith. That's really Yeah, interesting to hear. And I'm really interested, what difference does that faith that you clearly have in Jesus, what difference does it make as you face all these difficulties that come with Philip's medical condition?
I think the big change before Jesus and after Jesus is we accept this life as is because everything is gift from God. So even we have difficulties, it also gift, and then it also God's plan for us. Actually, we called COVID, even though we've been praying not to get COVID since lockdown started. I prayed to God every day, but we caught COVID. but God gave us immunity and safety and confidence. That means it looks like sometimes we pray to God, but it's kind of changing a little bit. God changes a little bit our request, but God gave us lots of good things, like a million times good things. So it was, I think, to accept God's plan is so blessed. And then that means we didn't ask God like what we really want. So what God gives us is like beyond our imagination, a million times better that we want it. So now we can go to church because we have immunity and confidence. That's very good. God sometimes change our plan.
Yeah, I think it's
that's
like
this.
it's not always what we want, but it's like what we need, right? So even though we want something, but God knows better, like in terms of what we need, what's good for us. Maybe we don't like at the time see exactly, okay, eye to eye. I mean, God's infinitely greater. But yeah, I think he gives us what we need, whether we agree with it at the time or not, but it's the right thing for us.
Yeah. So
having that faith in him that there's a plan and things happen for a reason. So have faith.
Yeah, have faith. Strong makes us strong. Yeah.
Oh, really helpful, guys. Yeah, I remember a girl at the Sunday school at St. Anne's was talking about a conversation she had with a friend, and her friend was saying, "Why doesn't God give us what we want?" And she said, "God gives us what we need."
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a great little bit of wisdom there. Absolutely. Now I know there's another thing you guys want to talk about, which is the impact your faith has had on your marriage. So share us a little bit about that.
Oh, our marriage.
What do you think?
I think definitely we are living in triangle. Our marriage consists of 3 things: God, Philip, and me. Always God is above us, and that's why we see same direction always. So after marriage, our life is, I think, very stable, very peaceful, and we always talk about Jesus and God. And seriously, I sometimes tell him, "Did you ask God? Yeah, did you talk to God? Yeah, something like that." So our life has always God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and we pray together. We read the Bible every night together. So I think our marriage life is filled with God a lot, thankfully, and he helped a lot, and
yeah, we were blessed to be married at St. Anne's, of course.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I should have talked first. Yeah, we are blessed because we could get married at St. Anne's in lockdown.
Yeah.
Even in lockdown, and then especially we have lots of regulation because we are subject to immigration. So we had a kind of time limit, or you have to get married until blah blah blah. For example, end of April. So we have regulation and time limit. But thanks to everyone, especially Richard, and everything worked out. Everything went well, and then yeah, I was so blessed we could get married in front of God, and then we make big promise before God. That was so meaningful and very privileged, and that makes so happy. Mm,
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time. Mariko, I'm particularly interested in, because you do so much for Philip, and obviously his condition requires so much attention. How has your faith in Jesus helped you serve Philip in that way?
Thank you. Good question. I think everything I do is so privileged because everything is God's plan, and He introduced me to Philip, and He God gave me some challenging things to serve a man, and then to be kind of always have to worry about the situation. And the COVID came, COVID hit us, but that makes me happy because I have something to do. Always like I have something to do through God's love. And when I came to London, I have almost nothing. I quit my job. I left my family and a friend in Japan. I changed my life very dramatically. So, and then also my visa status was always like unstable.
Yeah.
But again, having nothing makes me like so kind of like it makes me feel I'm okay because I'm weak. That's why Jesus come to me, help me. So yeah, I think I was very spoiled by Jesus because he helped me a lot. That's the motivation for me to help him. Yeah. Of course, to be honest, in the beginning, everything was first time experience me. I have no experience to nurse someone, and then his sickness is kind of very serious. And then life is kind of taking care of him. You know what I mean? Making food, cleaning, like everything leads to his health. So I was kind of under pressure, a lot of under pressure, but I've been motivated by God because God brought me to the UK, brought me to St. Anne's. God brought me in such a wonderful life. So yeah, God is motivation for me.
Brilliant. Thank you. Philip, what are you hoping the next few, well, we can only see so far ahead, but what are you hoping the next few months and years will have in store for you two?
In regards to what just life in general, or
Sure, yeah. How do you guys see the future now?
well, we want to continue living in the UK. I mean, we definitely UK is our home. I've been here for a few years, and Mariko's like 3 years now. So yeah, I mean, we definitely think London is our home, and we want to putting up roots here. And yeah, I mean, biggest thing for me, of course, I'm hoping every day to get a call from the hospital to get a kidney transplant. So it'll come hopefully any day or night. So just waiting for that call, and going through there's the stress of going through the operation, and it's pretty serious op. So that comes with its own things, and we'll deal with that when that comes. But I think we've connected to St. Anne's, and I think no matter where we live in the UK, we're going to be connected to St. Anne's. That's like our that's our home. That's how we see it. I mean, we've connected with all of you. people in the church have been amazing. I mean, the only really church that I knew before was, well, I know a couple of churches when I was growing up, and I think, I mean, I truly say that St. Anne's is different. It's the people there really, really make the church. The community of St. Anne's just is amazing. The people there are fantastic. The community is just beyond anything I've seen, I've experienced. So yeah, we will always be with you guys. It's just, again, continue to develop, and I hope that, of course, that we can come to the church. I think that we've got a little more confidence about going out, and so us definitely, going to the church regularly, and us, doing what we can and kind of, donating our time and energy to St. Anne's, and help, grow and spread the word to other people as well. And for me personally, I know how hard it is being on dialysis, and I've seen people in the dialysis centers. I know, because I've been there. I've done that. It's a pretty depressing place, and I think that the patients there need to see that there is hope. I think a lot of people they've lost hope. Some of these people are not that far away from dying, and I think that I can, personally, I can just say, hey, there is God, there is Jesus, there is the book, there's the Word of God for you to look at, and I'll help spread kind of what touched me to other people, and they can kind of experience it for themselves. It's wonderful to know that no matter what happens, you have somebody. Yeah, it makes you want to share that with other people, so they realize that it's just, you're not just staring into the abyss and there's nothing there is something. So you definitely need to share that.
That's so good. That was actually going to be my final question to you guys. I know how much you guys care about people going through similar situations to you, so I thought I'd give you a chance now to imagine they're listening, because many of them hopefully will be in the future to this. What is it that you would say to them?
I think for them, it's that, that there's answers in the Bible. There's answers in there. If you look at the word is powerful. I mean, I've had a Bible when I was a kid, and I never really looked at it. I think really take a deep look at it. If people have, maybe a lot of people have looked at it, but haven't really read it, haven't really looked at the word, see what's in there, and experience God, and really, really think about it. It's a wonderful experience to know that God can touch your life. That there is something. I think a lot of people just think that it's the end. There's tons of restrictions, right? There's a doctor say, well, you can't eat, you can't do this. People when they're on dialysis, typically they have a lot of other medical problems as well. They have diabetes, they have other underlying medical issues that pop up, and I think all hope is lost. I think life is over. I say life is not over. Yeah, there's answers. Don't give up hope. Yeah, God can do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I also want to say, let's start something small, and then keep it doing every day. And I bet you never stop, because this life is amazing. I think a small thing is, for example, read Bible 1 chapter is fine. Pray to God, just 3 minutes, it's fine. But keep doing this, makes your life change, and then your whole life will be changed. Yeah. So I think even the small things is fine. Let's just keep doing, and yeah, you will be changed.
Guys, thank you so much. You've spoken so genuinely and so from the heart. I really appreciate it, and I hope many people will be able to learn from it, especially people maybe going through similar things to you, because it is incredibly tough. And so we're really helped, and we are really blessed to have heard you guys. So that concludes my questions. If you have any questions, audience, listeners, to throw them in. I can see one in the chat already. We will get to those in due course. But I thought for now I would just share a little bit from the Bible. Phillip and Mariko have mentioned the impact the Bible has had on their life. Actually, Phillip and Mariko and I are in a Bible study group together that meets every week. And we've recently been going through the Gospel of Matthew, one of the 4 accounts of Jesus's life and teachings and death and resurrection. So I've just got a little snippet to share with you. And afterwards, I'll share something that I think Phillip and Mariko have also been sharing with us. So I'll have to share my screen for this to work. So there we are. I hope you can all see that. And so this says, this is Matthew chapter 8, first 3 verses. When Jesus came down from the mountain side, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said, "be clean." Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. Now I'll stop sharing that. So I just thought we'd think about what the man says to Jesus and then what Jesus says to the man. So this man is very medically vulnerable. In fact, he's so medically vulnerable, he has to be isolated from the community, not just for his sake, but primarily for everyone else's sake. They don't want to catch his leprosy, which presumably means just an infectious skin disease. And he comes up to Jesus, which would have been a risky thing to do, a bit of a socially uncomfortable thing to do. And he says, "Lord." The first word out of his mouth is Lord. And as he does that, he's giving Jesus a title of authority and power. And that's what Phillip and Mariko have been doing as well, giving Jesus that title of authority and power as they call him their Lord, the Lord of their lives, as we've been hearing. And back to this man with leprosy, he appreciates that Jesus's power, the authority that he has, is power that can really do things. It's power that can fix things. There are lots of powerful men in the world, and yes, it is usually men, and yet so much of the world remains broken. But this man knows that Jesus can fix things, fix his illness, which would fix his isolation, his loneliness. A man who had been shunned for his condition. He knows Jesus can fix it. And bigger than that, that shows something bigger, because this man's illness is one sign among thousands of signs everywhere in the world. The world is broken. That our relationship with the God who made us isn't quite right. And the man knows, and Matthew knows, that Jesus can fix that relationship, the one between us and God, that we have so often messed up through rejecting God or walking away from him. The man knows Jesus can fix it, but he's unsure if he's willing. That's what he says. He says, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." And what does Jesus say? Jesus says in verse 3, well, first he reaches out his hand, touching the man. Again, just imagine the social scenario there, touching a man with an infectious skin disease. "I am willing," he said, "be clean." And immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. So Jesus is willing. He doesn't hold back. He doesn't wait for something in return. This poor, clinically isolated man has nothing to offer, and Jesus asks nothing of him. So it is with our relationship with God. Jesus can fix it, not because we bring anything to him, but because he is powerful to fix it. Now, how Jesus fixes that, well, that's what we're learning about in church at the moment. We're in the run-up to Easter, and we're looking at Matthew's gospel, at what Jesus is saying and doing before he dies and rises again. So I would love to invite you to come and join us on Sunday mornings. You can also watch online, which is what Phillip and Mariko have had to been doing over the past couple of years. It's there on YouTube, St. Anne's Limehouse. Yeah, we'd love to see you and explore with you more just how Jesus fixes our relationship with God and how he's willing to do it. Brilliant. So thanks so much for joining. Before we go, there is time for some questions. So one in the chat. So this is a question for Philip, and it says, was it painful to have to let go of your identity as a physically fit and strong man after your health issues started? How do you view your identity now?
Yeah, no, it was really hard, because that's what I was. That's what I saw myself as, and that's what other people saw me as a big physically fit person. So to go from that, from one side of the spectrum to the other, the opposite, was really difficult. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I still feel that, but I know that, the confidence that, when I can need a kidney transplant, that I can probably, resume the gym again. Not to the degree I was before, not anywhere near it, but just to be fit and healthy. I think that state in my life, I was, quite narcissistic, and I think now it's my values have changed a lot with getting sick. I don't really see myself with that anymore. It wasn't really a healthy way of living. So I was kind of one extreme. I think I'm a different person. I did that, and but I don't really dwell on how I was, and if I can return to that. So it's not really a priority for me anymore.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got another question here. So again to Philip. So it says, do you think you were more able to hear the message of the gospel? So that's the message about Jesus. Were you able to hear it more effectively because you'd lost some of your strength and self-reliance? Do you think to that one?
That's a hard. I mean, in the beginning, I think it was the opposite, right? So I think in the beginning it was, you didn't want anything to do with God at that time. When I was told you're gonna be on dialysis, I remember when the doctor told me that, and he's like, yeah, your kidneys are failed. You're gonna be on dialysis the rest of your life. And then the doctor basically said that, and he just walked away. And at that point, I was just like in tears. I'm laying in the dialysis center on my back. The doctor told me that and walked away, and I was just like, he had really horrible bedside manner, but I mean, you just don't say it to somebody, yeah, you're gonna be on dialysis the rest of your life. Your kidneys are trashed. And he walks away, and I'm like, I never saw him again. And I was just like laying there. I'm like, why? And but I think there is ultimately there is a plan. And people always say that, oh, that God has a plan. But no, I truly believe that that God saved me for a couple of reasons. I mean, a couple of times my heart stopped when I was in operation. People, the doctors at the time didn't believe I even survived what was happening to me. It was, from them, it was like nothing short of a miracle that I just survived. And I've been given a second chance on life, probably second, even third chance. And especially with Mariko, my life has never been more complete. The way I was living before, it was crazy. And when I met Mariko, everything changed for me. So I'm happy living like this. Of course, I'd like to be off dialysis, but I'm happy with how my life is and how we were able to reconnect back to God and get involved with the church. So yeah, I'm quite happy.
Great, and we'll do one more question before we close for 9 o'clock, and it's to both of you. And it says, what are you most looking forward to about coming back to church in person after years of watching online?
I just want to see everyone's face. That's the best thing. That's enough for me. I just want to see everyone, and I just want to thank everyone during lockdown and in self-isolation time. We know everyone prayed for me, prayed for Philip. Everyone's prayer makes us our life changed, and then make our life more safer and happier. And then everyone made me grow up and made him grow up. And everyone's kindness helped us a lot. And yeah, we feel like a true family. So I want to thank everyone when we go to church in person. Yeah, it's true. I was so surprised how powerful the prayer is, because God is always perfect. God answers the prayers. So yeah, I realized how strong the prayer is. So yeah, we want to send our appreciation to everyone. Yeah.
Oh, well, guys, we can't wait to see you in person, and we have so much to thank you for as well. The way you inspire us with your perseverance and your love for the Lord. So thank you. Brilliant. Okay, well, everyone, thank you for joining. Special thanks to Phillip and Mariko. And do join us this time next week. We'll be hearing from another member of St. Anne's about his, again, dramatic ordeal, this time having to flee his country. And again, he has arrived at St. Anne's, and we're delighted to tell his story. So do join for that. Otherwise, you can look on the St. Anne's Limehouse website, particularly the What's On page, and hear much more about the life events and beyond that, things going on in church life more generally. We would love to see you all there. If you come on a Sunday soon, hopefully you'll bump into Phillip and Mariko and can ask all the questions that you want. But it's been a real joy, Phillip and Mariko. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.
Thank you.